Watch your fat fucking mouth.
Who you think you're talking to? How are you, folks? I'd like to say great to be back, but I don't want to be fucking here. Do you? Well, you do, because you guys were working. I had supposedly a week off, but, you know, it was filled with, ductwork that was put in wrong under my house and humidity coming up through the house and buckling the floors and whatnot, and transmission went on my car, and, life. It was more stressful this fucking week off than us actually working. Anyways, hey, I could have cancer, as my dad would say, and I would go, shut the fuck up. Are you comparing cancer with fucking ductwork? He said that to me once. He goes, how you doing, son? I was living in New York. I go, my neighbor backed over, knocked my lamppost over for the second time in 6 months. He goes, it's not like cancer. I go, yeah, Dad, that's what I was trying to say. That's what I was trying to say. Like a doctor said, I got bad news for you. Right? You have stage 4 lung cancer. Good news is your lamppost is still up. And you
Thank God.
Boy, did that one piss me off. Dad, I didn't say it was cancer. Mama. We got a guy weed whacking outside the building and leaf blowing. And as you know, leaf blowers and weed whackers, they have if you have a boat, a Mercury 250 engine on it, 250 horses. It's fucking louder than any 18-wheeler I've ever heard. Cut the shit. I'm not a guy who's into noise pollution. That fucking irritates me. This guy could be 4 city blocks away and you're going to hear it. To fucking blow leaves? Blow yourself. Then you'll never go to work. What? Oh, you heard me. Anyways, yeah, I'm in a rare mood. Excuse me. Anyways, college football opened over the weekend officially with everybody playing. And people talking about how interesting a year it's going to be because teams have switched divisions all over the country. Texas and Oklahoma are now in the SEC, and I can't even remember the rest of them. USC's in a Big 10 or 12, whatever the fuck. I mean, it's... Anyways, and they kept saying it's going to be a year like no other, and they weren't kidding. Between that and the portal and NIL and all that stuff, Notre Dame got beat opening day at Notre Dame for them, their opening home game. They go up to Texas A&M and win, a ranked team. Then they have Northern Illinois, who's never beat anybody in the history of anything, beats Notre Dame in Notre Dame. Texas kicked the shit out of Michigan at 107,000 people. A lot of other ones too, interesting ones. I'm not going to get into a sports thing here, but it made for a palpable weekend at least. Fucking laid there like a sloth. Red Sox are turning back into a pumpkin, and yet they're still hanging in there. And I feel like I'm forgetting some big NFL. I had 9 right so far with 1 game to go. Not bad out of 16. But then you look at the list. I'm in a pool, as you guys know, and you look up there. It's like Mrs. McGillicuddy in her late hundreds had 14. Because, she knows what a fucking 3-4 defense is. Get the fuck out of here. NFL. Like the Patriots. I always pick them because just out of the goodness of my heart, which you're not supposed to do. But I go, you know what? They're going to be terrible this year. And they got Tony Brissett as so they're at Cincinnati, and they're a 9.5-point underdog, and they win. Outright. Let me tell you about Detroit and Rams. And the Rams are good. You guys watch that game last night? Real quick. I want to get on to the news. I'm sorry. The Rams, it was a replay running back what they did the NFC Championship game last year with, as you know, I can't remember who won. Detroit knocked out the Rams or vice versa. Anyways, so last night, and it goes into overtime, and Detroit says, we're going to run the ball down your throat. And they did. They got the ball in overtime, ran down their throat and scored. Game over. Good for me. I win. But I'm just saying, watch out for them. And don't sleep on the Rams. All right, enough of that fucking horse shit. Let's get into some gay news. In fashion world.
Yeah.
Oh, real quick. Let's start with a clip that we had De Blasio clip about a year ago. Remember some guy on the sidewalk? De Blasio goes, hey, how you doing? He goes, you fucking cocksucker, you wrote this. We got another one of those. Check it out.
There we go. Bill de Blasio.
The guy who fucked this city. The biggest douchebag. The biggest fucking douchebag in the world right here. Biggest douchebag right here.
You know that?
Bill de Blasio. Fucking jerko.
This guy's on a lot. He's done other shit like it. I almost want to say he's the guy who threw pizza over the fucking into the mayor's driveway when they said they were going to take away pizza ovens. I want to say that's him. I know he does other shit. I think he's an artist. How fun is that, though? If we could only have that access every goddamn day. Anyways, it's good to see politicians getting the truth thrown right in their face. And speaking of that, folks, and you guys know this because I'm guessing you're Steven Crowder fans. That's why you're watching here today. Crowder Undercover team, which I've been bragging about forever. Sorry. Goddamn cigarette. I don't even smoke a whole cigarette. 2 drags, and it does that. Crowder has an undercover team, like Project Veritas. Matter of fact, it's made up, I think, of some of those former guys and gals. They send an attractive woman in to talk to somebody in a high-level position, get a few drinks on the guy, and we've all done that, right, fellas? You're like, no, I am a brain surgeon, comedian. You got the wrong guy. I actually save babies with bone marrow transplants. You can see my work on whatever. And they're like, okay, I'll blow you. It never works out that way. Trump cited Crowder's undercover team's work as the crux, and I quote President Trump, blowing these cases out of the water, keeping the pressure on. So, like I said, Mug Club and Steven Crowder send the undercover woman, attractive, to meet with a high-level guy in the Department of Justice, and filmed him. Sarah, help. What? You say, yeah, Sarah. You ain't. Secretly, serendipity. Anyways, here's the video. Oh my God. Yeah, surreptitiously. What? I went out with a surreptitiously. No. Go ahead.
Today there was a story about somebody in Southern District who's highly respected, knocking the hell out of both of those cases, say it's an embarrassment they were allowed to be brought. And
that's you, Mug Club.
The whole thing is disgusting. They're just out to get him.
And that's why I'd like the surgery of the police.
You got to watch this, folks, because we have captions.
It's a perversion of justice.
Perversion of justice. Alvin Bragg stacking charges and rearranging things just to make it fit a case. Not to be honest, he says, I think the case is nonsense.
Today, and I hope you're going to do a story because it's a big story. The Southern District of New York was, and this is a very highly respected group of people. He said it was a disgrace that case was brought. It was a disgrace that the case was brought in front of Mershon.
You hear that, folks? And again, congratulations to the Lotto with Crowder show and Steven and everybody that works here, including CEO Gerald Morgan, who was on with Newsmax yesterday. It's fucking national news. I mean, Trump quoted what he thought about it. So it's a big deal, and I guess there's more coming. So why you wouldn't subscribe to that show? Yeah, I'm part of the network. I don't have to say this. I don't have to plug their show, but you want to laugh and get shit done that affects your lives? You want to do that? Watch 60 Minutes. It's a terrific show. You get nothing but the drama. Hello, they're getting older every year. Hello, I'm the ghost of Mrs. Muir. Anyways, that's pretty big news. And this comes under the same thing. If you remember this next story, we touched on this months ago about that. Remember the trans person that shot up a school in Tennessee? Do you remember that? And they hid the manifesto, but Steven Crowder's team went undercover and somehow got excerpts from the manifesto before anybody else did. That's the headline. It's about fucking time. The Covenant School Shooters Manifesto, transgender, a guy, biological guy who identified as a woman, has finally been released by the Tennessee Star, but it didn't happen without a fight. Yeah, Crowder started it. We're just a journalistic organization seeking documents which the public has a right to see, and at every level the local government has obstructed those desires, as has the FBI. Who said that? Tennessee Star CEO, that's the paper, Michael Patrick Leahy, tells Jill Savage and Matthew Peterson of Blaze News. That was this weekend. In fact, the Metro National Police Department has claimed, he said, I'm quoting him, for well over a year that the investigation is ongoing. They claimed it in court in March. It will be over by the end of June, they said. Well, here we are, the beginning of September, and they're still claiming that it's ongoing. It's basically a stalling tactic, he says, because they don't want this information out, okay?
I'm going to find out what the hell happened here.
In 2023, Leahy was hauled into court on June 17th by presiding judge in yeast infection in the state case to explain why she, the judge, shouldn't hit him with a contempt of court charges. He says she claimed that perhaps it was a court order that she'd issued that I violated. There was no such order, Leahy explains. It was Kafkaesque-like, right here in America. Leahy didn't give up as he believes it's incredibly important for Americans to understand the motive behind a shooting like this. And Savage also notes that the shooter's writings shed light on her poor, don't call her, his, unless you're giving in. Even in this article, on his poor mental health leading up to the goddamn shooting.
Yes, sir.
I'm blowing myself out here. This is a matter of public interest, he says. What is the motivation behind these mass murders committed by very troubled people, and what's the public policy solution to it? I think that's a very important part of the discussion. Here is the CEO of the Tennessee Star talking about this with my former girlfriend, Jill. I don't know who the fuck.
And I want to report on it. This is a matter of public interest. What is the motivation behind these mass murders committed by very troubled people? And what's the public policy solution to it? I think that's a very important part of the discussion.
I could have left
we
that out
believe
my text again.
that we have served the public interest by demonstrating the very confused state of mind that Audrey Elizabeth Hale had, and the absolute total failure of the mental health system to treat her for her difficulties. And in fact, we've reported that she's been under psychiatric care at Vanderbilt University Medical Center. She was under that care for 22 years. She was also taking very strong SSRI drugs since 2019. Those will have an impact on a person.
Hey, yeah. God forbid you pointed 22 years under psychiatric care, but let that thing roam free. And it ended up killing, 3 9-year-olds or something like that? A couple teachers, whatever. There was a shooting this week in Georgia. People trying to blame guns. It's not the fucking gun. It's what drives kids to pick up a gun and do something like that. And if you disagree with that, I don't want to talk to you, you retards. Oh, language. Fucking retards, much better. So once again, the Steven Crowder's Undercover team broke that. Can you imagine it? How long ago was the shooting? They're just now releasing the whole document. What is this protection of these transgender? Same with, this is a weird analogy. I'm watching Nebraska and Colorado football this weekend. You know, primetime Deion Sanders has turned it into Colorado into this whole black thing. Yes, he sold out the home stadium for the rest of the season. I get all that. But these announcers, they can't kiss his ass or his son's ass enough during the game. They're just obsessed. It's just mind-blowing. And then Nebraska's kicking the shit out of them in the first half, right? It's going to be a long year for Colorado again. Second half, the referees are doing everything to keep it close. Why do you say that, Nick? Well, again, you don't want to. They've been bragging. They built up Deion Sanders to be this godlike image in college football. Somehow they have to protect it because it makes money. I don't know. I don't know. But there was 3 calls in the second half. They had the head of officials in the booth. When something happens, they go to him for his opinion. 3 times he goes, "That is not a foul. I'm sorry." All against Nebraska. Otherwise, it would have been 62-20 or whatever the fuck. That's my take on it. You can say I'm crazy, but you told me I was crazy 25 years ago when I was saying white guys are treated like assholes in commercials. So I'm sticking with my story. Kiss my grits. Sorry for the language. Huh? Speaking of grits. Oh, Jesus. Nice segue. Speaking of grits. Pass the syrup, Jesus. That's the headline. What can I tell you? Walt Emmer. Do you know who he is? You should know. I bet you black people they have their flags at half-mast today. I should say their bandanas. Their masks. Walt Elmer, and I should talk. Look, there was a time when I was asked to take a break from our house and I was going to fucking Waffle. I was going to the Waffle House like I was fucking James Brown when he was 20. Walt Emmer, the president and CEO of Waffle House, white fella, by the way, and a member of the board of trustees for the Atlanta Police, just a good guy, Police Foundation. He has died at the young age of 58, the foundation announced, and no, he wasn't shot in the kitchen at a Waffle House.
Delicious. Delicious.
Thank you.
Emmer joined Waffle House in 1992 and quickly rose to senior leadership. It's amazing. Did black people complain? Becoming president of the company in 2002 and later adding the titles of CEO and chairman. And by the way, white people go there too. No, I'm just busting balls, you know. The board of directors for Waffle House issued a statement Sunday afternoon saying Emmer died after a long illness. And again, it wasn't that was midnight at another Waffle House. He will be greatly missed by his entire Waffle House you know who's going to miss him? Lone Star. Not Lone Star. How old are you, Nick? Come on, Dallas. You got to help me on that. What is it when they film black fights? They film fights on the street? World Star. Thank you. World Star. That's who's going to miss. Long way to go for a joke. Timing is everything. He'll be greatly missed by Waffle House family. And I say worlds because a lot of shit happens at Waffle House, if you guys know what I'm talking about. But 58's too young.
He's gone, and we couldn't do nothing about it.
Yeah, you could. You could not fucking put trans fats in everything. You get an omelet there. It's 1.5 feet high. Emmer was chair of the Georgia Tech Alumni Association board. What he was an adult and a guy, something I could never be. Business-minded, savvy, successful. Alumni Association Board of Trustees from 2012 to 2013 and served numerous organizations, including the Georgia Tech Foundation Board and the Georgia Tech Advisory Board. How many fucking boards are there? This is just what are they going to do? I heard they're going to replace him. I'm thinking, folks. I have no idea. Precious. They need a black face for the Waffle House now. The Waffle House, again, I don't know why I say that. It's big down south, white, black, and a lot of Mexican probably. You know, I went to Carrabba's and just had bread and. I went in for a drink, but then they put a thing of bread in front of me and olive oil. You know, I look in the kitchen. It's like 3 Indian guys and a Puerto Rican making bolognese right from the old country. The Waffle House chain around the clock diners opened in 1955 and now boasts more than 1,900 locations in 25 states and 751 shooting deaths. Just kidding, folks. Emmer is survived by 3 children and, 58? Did it say what the illness was? Yep. Guarantee he got this jab. Speaking of jab, before I go ahead, excuse me. First of all, those of you guys in Mug Club, stick around for the rest of the show. The rest of you go to nickdip.com and sign up to get my entire show, Steven Crowder's entire show, and a whole lot more. And like I showed the Undercover stuff like that makes national news, that breaks national news. It's the podcast, and it's funny as hell. I'm going to be doing it tomorrow night. We're streaming the debate live. I'll be sitting next to Crowder. I have to leave tomorrow after this show, get on a plane, so you'll get a double dose of DiPaolo. And we'll be streaming the debate live. And yes, we're going to have to talk over it because that's how it's done. All right? we try to limit it, but you know, he fact checks in real time. And then you can check his facts if you want. Anyhow, unlike the media. Also, go to, when you're at nickdip.com, click on tour dates. You can see that September 27th, I'll be at Wise Guys, Jordan Landing, Utah. And then the next 2 nights right after that, September 28, 29, joining my friends, finally, they've asked me many times, I've always been busy, Skankfest in Las Vegas. So hope to come home with a herpes sore. What? I'm only kidding, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of getting it in the ass, man. Oh, so anyways, yeah. Do the regular show tomorrow. You'll see me in the morning. Then you'll see me on Crowder. And then I'm traveling back, so we won't do a show Wednesday, as you know. Thursday, special guest, Steve Sweeney. The guy, if you like my comedy, or a fan of mine, I'm interviewing a guy named Steve Sweeney, one of the funniest. He was the king of comedy in Boston. Probably still is. He's the reason I got into it. Heard him on the radio. I think I was in fucking, again, in high school. My buddy goes, let's go in and see this guy, Steve Sweeney. Went in there, and I was like, it planted the seed, and he's just extraordinarily funny. That'll be the show Thursday.
Hi. Good night, everybody.